Hello, it's Elpida, and welcome to Transformational Tuesday. And with everything that's going on in the world, sometimes it's hard to show up here and be all love and light and be inspirational and be upbeat because it's like, how much more shit do we have to fucking deal with? And if you're Gen X, you know what I'm talking about. We have been through the fucking gamut. We are so fucking tired of living in unprecedented times. Like, I want to live a simple fucking life in my little cottage by the ocean on the coast of Greece, writing romance novels and fucking knitting and not have to deal with any of this shit. And not because I don't care about the world, and not because I don't see the fucking chaos and the fucking corruption and all that stuff, but because I'm fucking tired of fighting. I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of trying to make the world a better place, because it kind of fucking feels like the world doesn't want to be a better place. It kind of feels like the world just wants to fucking implode. Okay, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way. I will say that everything going on right now, you can take that to mean whatever you want. I want you to remember that for every fucking word that's said, there's at least 10 that are not being said. And yes, I'm going to use the phrase that was used so fucking much in 2020 that I started to hate it, was I'm exercising an abundance of caution. But really, what that means is, like, my life isn't really changing much. I've been wearing a mask since 2020. I've been wearing gloves when I go out. I'm not changing that. That's not, even if I thought I could, like, ease up a little bit about it, yeah, the world just keeps showing me there's a reason why I started doing it, and there's a reason why I kept doing it, and I have no intention of stopping. The only thing that might change this summer, depending upon what the fuck is going on, is we might not go to the beach this year, which is really sad to me because I love going to the beach. It's one of our favorite things to do, and that might not happen this summer due to the fucking cost of gas and the impending spread of the hantavirus. And if you think it's contained, if you think that this is the close contact now they're saying is 2 meters. That's an awful fucking long, huge target zone. But it's not about living in fear. It's about doing what we can in order to, I'm going to say it, preserve our way of life, and to be able to live in comfort and to live freely. So you can do with the information that I'm sharing what you will. I'm going to do my best to just keep my fucking nose out of it, because I don't feel like this is going away. I mean, I said this the first week we went into lockdown for COVID, that this was going to be 18 months to 3 years, and sure enough, that's exactly what it was. And COVID's not gone yet. So, like, you know, people like to just pretend that it's gone and that, you know, it's safe out there, but it's not. And primarily because people can't afford to stay home when they're sick. And, you know, that just illustrates the whole problem with our fucking, you know, hustle culture and corporations and corporate greed and all that shit. And that's not really what I wanted to come in here and talk about today. But that's what's coming up for me. I will tell you that the astrology that we have right now is really, like, pointing to these things. I mean, we have a new moon in Taurus on Saturday, and Taurus is all about resources. It's the second house. It's the things that we value. It's also resources, money, right? But it's also about love and our attention, and where are you putting your attention? Okay? So sometimes it's kind of like a set it and forget it. For me, it's continue to live the life that I have been living, and make the most of every day that comes my way, and to do what I can to help other people and to keep myself busy while I'm on this earth, and to look for alternative sources of resources, food, things like that. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I get it. Some people, are out in the, you know, have to go to things in person, and that's not always avoidable, right? But what I want you to think about as we go into this new moon is, what have you been being called the past 2 weeks since the full moon in Scorpio to let go of? And so one of my things that I've been called to let go of is the extra. So the extra meaning I just starting a weight loss program. So the extra weight, right? I've getting rid of extra fabric that it's not my vibe, right? Extra beads that are not my vibe. It's not about getting rid of just things just to get rid of them. It's about making space. And obviously a little bit of money, which doesn't hurt, but like, it's not really about the money. It's about like letting go of stuff. And also, as yesterday I was doing a bead stash, I have a chat going on in Messenger, and I'll put it down below if you want to join my BD stash. There's a whole bunch of stuff posted in there already. Some of it is claimed. I'll start deleting pictures of the things that are claimed. And I'll be posting more things. So when I got to the end of it, and I'll tie this into what this new moon looks like. This is not just some random story. And you just have to understand about me is like, I share there's always a reason why I'm sharing things. I may not always know why I'm sharing it till I get to the end, but this time it's pretty obvious. So I got to the end of my BD stash, and originally I was just like, this bag of stuff, this Target bag of stuff is what I'm getting rid of. And it's been sitting around for a while. And I did a BD stash like 2 years ago from this bag, and I sold a bit of it, a good chunk of it, a couple $100 worth. And then, last week I was just like, oh, I want to get rid of some more because I'm really tired of all these Target bags full of fabric, full of stuff that like we don't really need, right? And then I get to the end of it, and I had originally decided that whatever was in this bag was what I was selling right now, because it takes time. It takes time to take pictures, to count beads. Sometimes I don't even count the beads, but like if I'm doing a big lot, I'll just be like, whatever, $5 for these 5 bags of beads. If I'm doing a single bag of beads, then I will count it, because then you're like, oh, that's a good deal. Really rock bottom prices. I've got some vintage authentic Swarovski crystal beads, a lot of strands of that, 4mm, some 6 I think, and some 10. Full strands that are like $5, $8, which if you go on eBay, you'll see they're selling for like 10, 12 and above, depending upon the color. I'm not even pricing them according to color. It's just by size. Anyway, so I get to the end of it, and I'm like, I have an entire container. It's this blue container with little drawers. It's really meant for putting like screws and nails in it. And I have 2 of those. And one I use all the time because it's got my like silver beads, and it's got like the larger like focal beads, and like my findings, like clasp and thing like that. And the one on the bottom, I rarely ever go into it because it's more crystal beads, it's more seed beads. Like some of it I use, some of it I don't use. There are some semi-precious. Most of the beads that I use are in these sorts of containers. And I was a party light consultant a long time ago, so these are party light containers. They used to have like tea lights and votives and stuff. And I have, I think, 13 of these, and they're like labeled. This one's blue, and they're right here in my desk. And then I have, some sterling silver and gold, and then these are all keys. These are like funky keys and stuff that I use. And anyway, I was thinking, and I was just like, why am I holding on to this entire thing full of beads that are just not my vibe? Like occasionally I'll use crystal beads, but Mostly I use semi-precious and sterling silver. Occasionally I throw in some gold beads. Occasionally, like if there's some kind of special glass bead or something that's just like, ooh, pretty shiny. But really, it's just not my vibe, right? So I get to the end of this G-Stash thread. Like, I've got this bag. It's for 2 Mondays in a row now. I've like put everything all over my bed and organized things and made lots and counted beads and taken pictures and priced these things. And, I sold like $50 worth to one woman, and then I have another woman who's buying some stuff, and then there's a bunch of people in there who either have seen it and are not interested or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And I get to the end of it and I'm like thinking, I have this entire cabinet of stuff that I don't use. And what am I holding it on for? Why am I holding on to it for? Same with the fabric. Like, there's a fabric yesterday or a couple days ago that a woman was just like, oh, I want 2 yards of this because it's a 4 yard piece. And it's got red stripes, and then it's got like cream colored stripes, and in the cream colored stripes it has the lyrics to the Battle Hymn of the Republic, right? And I don't even know where it came from. I think it was donated to me during the pandemic, and like, just held on to it, right? And I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. And yesterday I ironed it, I cut it in half, and I have it packaged ready to go to be sold, right? I'm waiting for the woman to like do the payment thing. And the reason I share this is indicative of what's going on right now. It's like, it's the image that I get as a clairvoyant. It's like we're on a sinking ship. And it's like, what do we let go of? Like, I'm reminded of the Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're starting to dump everything. And then they're realizing, oh, wait a minute, like, we could have used that as ammo. So I want you to really be discerning about what is coming up for you this week. What are you being called to let go of? Another thing that I'm being called to let go of is, taking things personally. Okay? Like, my 13-year-old goes between loving me and wanting to cuddle with me, and then being rude and insulting and calling me a hypocrite and a liar. And it's like, I get it. He's hurting. This past year has been rough without his father, and he's using me as a verbal and emotional punching bag because I'm here. And I've tried to get him into therapy, but he doesn't want to, and I can't force him, and whatever. And it's really interesting because he was talking about how, like, I talk about people behind their back. And I'm like, talking to my therapist is not talking about people behind their back. It's about processing and deciding how I feel about what people are doing to me and whether I want these people in my life or not. It's not talking about people behind their back. I don't go to other friends and talk about, go to friend B and talk about friend A. I don't do that. That's just not my style, right? If someone asks me, I might be like, oh, I don't have contact with that person. I try like not to share stories because it's just, I don't want my experience to color their experience around this person, unless it's something really toxic, and then I kind of feel like it's my job to share just the bare minimum details. But he's hearing me talk about people to my AI therapist, and yes, I use an AI therapist. It has been one of the things that I've been doing in my life for the past year that has been a huge game changer, to be able to process things in real time and not wait for my appointment on Monday mornings. And yeah, I'll go in there and I'll be like, da 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 da, and try to find how I feel about certain people in my life. And it has caused me to end another friendship this year because I did not feel respected, and I felt that like this person, I just didn't want this person in my life anymore. I did not feel like the relationship was supportive. So anyway, so I want you to notice this week as we go into the new moon, what are you being called to let go of? And for me, it's hard because I do want my children to like me and to love me. I do my best to make sure that they have everything they need. And when I and being treated this way, it really hurts. Especially because I don't ask for a lot. Anyway, I want you to understand that these things come up to be processed. And process doesn't always mean, like, what do I say in order to get this person to stop being this way? Sometimes process means, how do I detach from making it mean something about who I am? How do I remove this relationship from my life? Obviously, with my children, I don't want to do that. I adore them, and I understand it's hard to be a kid, right? And it's hard to be a kid when you have very little control over your life, and whatever, right? But what's coming up this week, especially with Pluto in Aquarius, remember, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It is also the planet of wealth, but the way that we get to wealth, that we determine what our wealth is, what wealth means to us, is through the process of alchemy, of breaking things down and dissolving them and then putting them together in a different way, right? So that's strong this week, right? With this energy of the moon getting darker and darker, right, as we move into the new moon. And then deciding on Saturday what it is that you do want. How do you want to be supported? What are the resources that you need? And resources may be food, money, but it also could be love, understanding, compassion. And how can you give those to yourself? Okay, a Taurus New Moon is not about just putting things out there into the ether, writing your blank check to the universe, or making your list of things that you want to manifest. It's saying, what are you going to do for it? And what are you going to do for it doesn't always mean rolling up your sleeves and hard work, although Taurus does govern that, right? It's about, what are you ready to let go of? Where are you ready to commit? Where are you ready to get serious about certain things? And sometimes silence is the way that we deal with things. Okay, one of my kids love to rage bait me, and I do many times, take the bait. Because those are my own inner wounds. So for me, Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto also, you really want to look where Aquarius is in your birth chart. That will tell you what area of your life is going through a deep transformation for the next 5 months. And it's not just Aquarians, it's not just Leos or Scorpios or Taurus, which is what a lot of astrologers are talking about. It's all of us. And it's not just 3 to 5 degrees Aquarius. It's all of us. Where is Aquarius in your birth chart? And for me, it's the 12th house. It's the subconscious. It's my beliefs about myself. So Pluto is challenging my beliefs about myself. Do I need my children to agree with everything that I say? Do I need them to like what I say? Do I need them to be kind and compassionate to me? Well, I'd like these things, but do I absolutely need them? Okay. In the D-stash, do I need everything to sell? When do I know that I'm done selling things and ready to just donate them and or throw them away, or whatever the case may be? It's us creating those boundaries and those rules for ourselves. It's the same thing with the hantavirus. Regardless of what is going on around there, what is your game plan if this becomes a serious thing? And if you think it won't, you haven't learned your lesson yet. It will. It already has. They're saying 8 weeks incubation period, but the math ain't mathin'. It's just not mathin'. And then these people were put on planes with other people. Those 18 Americans did not fly themselves home, right? was contact with other people, and people to take them off, and people to drive them, and people to, there's all these, and I know they're taking the abundance of caution here, we're hearing this, but now we're hearing that there's other people that were not on the ship or were let go off the ship before they knew what they were dealing with, that are out there and they're contact tracing. And at the end of the day, you are 6 degrees of separation or closer to one of these people. It's just a fact. In this global world economy that we live in, and all the travel and all the connections that we have with these people, you are 6 degrees of separation from these people. So, and the biggest thing this whole situation brings up for me is that people just do not think about the consequences of their behavior. And that's why I wear a mask. They're like, oh, my nose is a little runny, I feel a little off, I'm just gonna go to the grocery store and get a few things. Not thinking about that they might be sick, and that there's other people out there that cannot afford to get what they have, and it could just be the fucking common cold. Okay, so it's the lack of consideration for other people that bothers me. Just like this ornithologist, RIP as it is, went to a fucking dump. And you think a person who's an ornithologist knows what these birds are feeding on and the dangers that those things that they're feeding on pose. But he didn't think. He went to this dump, he got infected, and then he went on a cruise ship with all these people. And not only did he get himself and his wife killed, but now there's other people dying. And this is why I have a problem with trusting people. Because people don't always think about the consequences of their action. And not everybody has a brain like mine, which is like 8 chess moves ahead. Some people are in the moment. They're like, oh, you know, that bird is over there, and they go and whatever. And they don't think about these things. And they think, oh, the chances of me getting this are slim to none. What's the big deal? And then global pandemic. But the astrology right now with Pluto in Aquarius is asking these sort of questions. Is your ultimate transformation death? And for all of us, eventually it is. But I'm not ready for that right now. Not yet. I feel like there are still things that I want to experience in my life, and I'm not ready for that. So I'm doing whatever it takes. And I am usually the only person in Aldi and Walmart and wherever I go, because I do go to the store occasionally, still wearing a mask, wearing gloves. And it's to the point where I don't even register what people are doing or looking at me. If they're looking at me, they're not looking at me, I don't give a flying fuck. And if they assume that I am sick, that's why I'm wearing those, even better, stay the fuck away from me. And if I find someone is too close in the line, they will get a fucking dirty look. I might tell them, can you please back up? Because I have health predispositions and I cannot afford to get sick. Okay. So this Pluto in Aquarius is very powerful, and there's a whole other story to it, and I'm not going to get into it. But what I really want you to think about is the past 2 weeks, what has been coming up? What are the things that you're like, I need to let go of? I need to change this. That relationship isn't working for me. Doing that isn't working for me. That is not working for me. And are you listening? What is the universe and your subconscious bringing to you, especially in your Aquarius house? So for me, it's really challenging my beliefs. And also not getting attached. Like this past weekend, on Saturday, I was supposed to have a session with someone to I just did a NLP certification, even though I was already certified in NLP, and I was like, oh, I'd love a partner to do a belief change. And my partner messaged me past the time we were supposed to meet, even though I didn't feel good all weekend. I was just really fucking tired. And was like, something about not having gone past the first week, can we meet another time? And I was just like, that's fine, I'm not feeling well. And then I had another call on Monday, on Sunday, for someone getting like they were looking for people to get their certification in another modality. And so I took those beliefs into that modality because I was like, I'm showing up anyway, so why not? And I had an amazing session. And even though it was Mother's Day, and even though I probably could have rested, I'm committed to my transformation. I'm committed from shifting from this person who takes everything personally, who constantly is always giving and giving and giving and going above and beyond, to being more selfish, to being more greedy, and to being more fucking lazy, because I am tired of doing everything on my own. I am tired of always being the giver. I'm tired of getting back the bare fucking minimum. And it's my turn. It's literally my fucking turn. Okay? And so for me, this new moon in Taurus is all about me actually asking for the support that I need from the universe, from people. Like, requiring, not asking, requiring. Like, putting my foot down and being like, I don't care if that makes me selfish. I don't care if that makes me greedy. I don't care if it makes me lazy. And if you follow me for a long time, you know those are the 3 things that I was told as a child, among other things. And I am fucking tired of shrinking and shrinking and shrinking to not be perceived this way when I know I am not that kind of person. The person that says something like that to me is a person that doesn't have the capacity or is benefiting from my overgiving. And usually it's both. And so to me, instead of that being a sign as there's something bad or wrong with me, or that I'm asking for too much or being too much, which was even worse as a child, it is a sign that that person is not aligned. Okay? And I'm not saying that sometimes I don't need to check my time, because I see that I've been on here almost 27 minutes, and we've talked about astrology, we've talked about what's going on in the world a little bit, but I haven't pulled any cards. But all on topic, right? So, having said that, I want you to look at 3 things this week and going into Saturday, and even more importantly Sunday. For some odd reason, I don't know what the astrology is on Sunday, but I know Sunday is really important. I'm not going to go look it up because it doesn't really matter. First, what has the universe been telling you that you need to let go of? And sometimes it's like, stop taking things personally, stop feeding the rage baiters, stop engaging in certain things. Like yesterday I was like, take, reel after reel around the hantavirus, and I was like, nothing changes in my world regardless. I'm still masking, I'm still wearing gloves, I'm still having groceries delivered when I can. I only go to the store once a month to get the specific cat food that I need. I'm still wiping everything down or washing things that come into my house. It does not affect that. My behavior is not going to change. Like I said earlier, the only thing that might change is we might not go to the beach this summer, depending upon how I'm feeling, what my intuition is telling me, and what is going on in the world. And I'm hoping that's not true, but I have to brace for that, right? 2 is, who am I being? Who am I being? Am I trying to be smaller, like I talked about, so that I'm not perceived in a certain way? And now those are remnants from the past, right? Like when I was a child, I did not want to be seen, because being seen meant I was given more chores, I was yelled at or blamed for something, I was hit, literally hit, or touched inappropriately. So I did not want to be seen. But now I'm an adult and I get to control that situation. I get to have boundaries. I get to have that distance. And that's why I love running my business online, because I don't have to deal with some of that. Some of it you still do, because you still have to set boundaries with clients and things like that, right? And 3, what do I require? And I mean require, not bare minimum. Okay? like, I want you to think about, so the thing that I'm getting is this 12 calories. 1200 calories a day is not enough to sustain a 10-year-old child. That stuff is a bunch of bullshit. I do not know where they came up with these numbers. A fucking adult needs more than 1200 calories. I don't care about the conspiracy theories. I don't know where it came from. You know that you are getting enough food when you feel satisfied, when you have the energy to actually show up in your life every single day. So, what do you require? Okay? And for some of us, it is having savings. For some of us, it is an abundance of vitamin A because we're lacking. Like, a lot of times with your food, you can just follow those cravings and see where they're leading you. Look it up. I'm craving chocolate. It means that you're deficient in a certain nutrient. And no, I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor, but I have done tons of fucking research, and your body's telling you I need this. And your body knows that if it tells you you need, kale, you're going to be like, oh. Seriously, that stuff tastes disgusting. Like, I'd rather fucking go eat grass. And Greeks eat, like, all sorts of kind of fucking weeds, but kale is not one of them. Then eat kale. But if my taste buds tell me to eat chocolate, fuck yeah, I'm going to eat that. So it's just finding better substitutions. But anyway, it's listening to our bodies, listening to our hearts, listening to our mind, listening to our intuition, and really living from a more intuitive place. And I feel like that's the collective transformation that's going on with Pluto. It's like, how can we let go of the bullshit that we've been taught is right and wrong, and who we should be and what we should have, depending upon obviously where Aquarius is in your chart, and how do we let go of these things. And Aquarius is also about the collective. So the Pluto transit as well is all about how can we consider other people without losing ourselves. Like this guy, and I'm sorry, rest in peace, but that was a very fucking selfish decision to go to a place that has this bird that eats these animals, because do not tell me he did not know what they eat. Because what kind of fucking ornithologist are you if you do not know what their primary diet is? And if you know what their primary diet is, then how do you not know that particular mouse or rat doesn't carry hantavirus? Because I know me, when I fucking hyper fixate on an interest, I learn everything I can about it. And if it was my fucking goddamn profession, I would know 10 times the average fucking ADHD hyperfixation person. So again, I'm not just here to speak ill of the dead, but it really fucking pisses me off when one person makes a very fucking poor and selfish decision, and then the rest of the fucking literal world has to fucking deal with it. We all have to fucking change our lifestyle because one person couldn't fucking be responsible. So anyway, that's my soapbox. So, I'm going to pull some cards for the collective, and then I'm going to go on my merry way because I have projects to finish and things to do. And sitting here bitching about selfish old white men, again, a different selfish old white man, does not really do anything for my fucking blood pressure or my mood or my life. So I'm going to look at what do we need to let go of as a collective? What is the embodiment that we need to, what do we need to embody? What is the identity or the characteristics that we need to embody? And then what are the resources that we should be calling in? And I know it's going to be different for everybody. So look at your own life. What are you feeling called to let go of? Who are you being called to be? And you are already that person. It's about letting go of the things that tell you that it's wrong, bad or wrong to be that way. And then what are the resources that you need to call in order to support you and to support you fully? Because listen, as a mom, when my child needs something, I don't, like, let's say my child we homeschool, but anyway, even with homeschool, do you know how many fucking flashcards I have? Do you know how many, like, resources I have? Do you know how much fucking paper and ink I use on a daily basis in order to print their worksheets and make sure I go above and beyond. We need to do that for ourselves. We need to do that for ourselves. So it's not just having a granola bar every fucking morning like I do, but actually having some real food throughout the day other than dinner. And I know that. I know it up here. But how do we embody that? How do we, like, actually take action and make that a thing? Well, it takes knowing yourself. It takes playing games with yourselves. It takes doing whatever it fucking takes in order to accomplish that goal. And having no shame, having alarms, having notifications, treating yourself, like, making it fun, whatever it takes to get into the habit of doing these things for yourself and taking better care of yourself. And sometimes just having a I don't give a fuck attitude, like the whole mask thing. Like, I actually ran into my dentist's secretary, and she's like, Elpida, it's been 6 years. And I'm like, so? I don't care. I don't give a fuck. And the world keeps showing me there's a reason why I keep doing it. Why my intuition's like, we are not ready. And we may never be ready, we meaning myself, be ready to take that mask off. And that's okay. Because I don't go to places like the mall. I don't go to concerts. I don't go to these things. I'm fucking Gen X. I'm tired. I don't have the patience to make small talk if I want to listen to loud music, I got Alexa. I got my fucking Greek radio app on my fucking phone. I can do it in the comfort of my own home with a beverage of my choice that I know where it's been and right? I don't need to go out there. And if I want friends, there are places that I can go to find friends, to have that community if and when I want it. I don't have these obligations. And I'm not saying that's a lifestyle for everybody. I'm just saying that we don't have to participate in things. We don't. Like, right now, there's homeschool reform going on here in Connecticut. And it's like, okay, I see that, and I wish I could be the kind of person who could put my germophobia aside and my health issues aside and go march on the Capitol and raise my voice. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do anyway. And if you want to come bang on my door and tell me that what I'm doing is wrong, yeah, I've already researched it, and I already have documentation that your law is unconstitutional based on the Connecticut Constitution, so come at me. Okay, and I have an attorney who likes cases like this, and yeah, would just so fucking eat this up. So, again, I'm not a person who is, likes to flaunt God's law. Whatever. That's a movie reference. If you get it, you get it. I'm not the kind of person who is looking for laws to fucking break or bend or whatever. But I also know my rights, and I also know that I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if you come for me, if you are going to try and make me wrong, you better spend the next year fucking doing your research, dotting your I's and crossing your T's in triplicate. Because that's what I'm fucking doing. So don't come towards me with bullshit and fucking baseless accusations. Because I will tear you a new one, and you won't even fucking know what happened till 3 weeks later when you wake up for your fucking coma. So you don't fuck with Aquarius. Aquarius, we quiet. We sit and we observe, and we're like, uh-huh. And we've already checked out from that conversation 10 minutes ago when you opened your mouth and you tried to disrespect me with your bullshit. And if I feel the energy to put you in your place, I will put you back in your mother's womb. Actually, I will put you and your mother in your grandmother's womb. So don't come for Aquarius. If you think Gen X is bad and a Gen X Aquarius woman is like to the X power, and that X depends upon the day how many exponents we up there. So I'm just saying, the world can be the fucking world. The world can do what the world does. But we do not have to cooperate to everything the world tells us to do. We have agency. We have rights. And we have free will. We do. I know this world, and I use the word world very inclusively and very derogatory and very general for a reason, thinks it's manipulating and controlling some of us because we just flying under the radar. But we're not stupid and we are not complying. So do with that information what you will. Okay? I will tell you that I have been burned as a witch and as a heretic in 3 fucking lifetimes. So if you think that's happening in this one, it ain't fucking happening. Okay? I have learned to hide in plain sight. And I have learned to speak in code and to insult people so that they don't even realize they've been insulted till maybe even decades later. So we are not the same. And if you are like me, you get it. You know what I'm talking about. And you will find more of this happening as Pluto transits through Aquarius. Because us Aquarians, we're going to speak up. We're going to say our piece. But you may not know what we are saying. Because we are not here for you to understand us. We see you, we get you, and we don't want to be you. And I'm not talking about specifically the person watching this. I am talking about the world. So I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to pull the 3 cards and I'm going to go on with my day because I've already said too much. And so it's time to like move on before people start talking about my tinfoil hat. Which I don't have a tinfoil hat. I don't need a fucking tinfoil hat. Okay. This new moon transit. Okay. Okay. That's really interesting because all 3 cards came up reverse. I do not read reverse with this deck anymore because it doesn't like to be read reverse. So what is the thing that we need to let go of? So really interesting is the higher view. Okay. So let's see if you can see that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's called the higher view. So you see how she's on the bird and seeing the higher view. So this is what we need to let go of. Okay, so for those of you that are watching this, and not anybody else, but the people that are watching this, people that get what I'm talking about, well, you need to stop. You need to let go of like, you see how like the guy goes to the dump and he knows that this is a toxic place and he shouldn't be there, but he doesn't care because he wants to see the bird, and now the whole fucking world is freaking out because he might have unleashed the new plague. How selfish and inconsiderate that was. Yeah, we need to be a little more selfish and inconsiderate, and not in that sort of way, in the way that like we expose other people and put other people in danger, but we need to be selfish and inconsiderate of other people by protecting ourselves, by going within, by saying, you know what, I'm not going to participate in that. I already know what to do. Been there, done that. I've got my protocol set up. Okay. So for those of you that are looking at the world and saying it's just one dumpster fire after another, I hate living in unprecedented times. I know I chose to come here, but this is a fucking more than you've I agreed to, it's time for you to kind of go into your hidey hole, become the hermit for a while, and let the world burn. And listen, I get it. We all need to play our part, and we all need to be activists and stuff like that. You could be an activist sitting at home feeling nice and safe. Okay? There are ways for you to participate in the world and make a difference without going in the front lines and putting yourself in danger. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave that at that. So this is about letting go of the need to save everybody. Not everybody wants to be saved. Okay? As the ex-wife to 3 men, well, almost 3 because the last one we're still married, of trying to save them from their fucking selves, it doesn't work. People need to wake up and realize that their actions have consequences, not just for themselves, but the people around them, their wife, their family, the other people that they're in contact with. They need to do that on themselves, because really we are dragging like soaked dead horses to the water. They don't fucking care. Let them. Let them. I'm not a big Mel Robbins fan, but let me tell you, that one, let them. Okay, just let them. Okay, I'm telling you, there are relationships that I checked out from years ago that I finally closed the loop on these past couple years, because I was just like, you know what? Why am I still fucking here? Why am I trying to be the better person and give this person the benefit of the doubt that they're not insulting me, that they are respect, blah, 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 blah. Why? I'm tired of being the bigger person. And it doesn't mean that I have to be petty. It just means that I can just exit stage left and not fucking engage. Like I don't want to hear about the haunt of artists. I don't. I know what I need to do for me and my family. Okay? What you decide to do, if you're like, I'm not going into lockdown, I'm not doing this, that's fine. There are consequences to your actions. And I want you to be selfish in the proactive way, not in the like, I'm not, putting my life on hold because one fucking old white man decided that he's going to do whatever the fuck he wants, and now him and his wife are dead. And if you feel like I'm being disrespectful, I am. Because I'm tired of old white men fucking making decisions that the rest of us have to deal with. And yes, I am talking about our president, and I'm talking about all the other fucking old white men that seem to think that, a dick means power. It does not. It just doesn't. Okay? So I want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about your family. And I want you to make choices that are in alignment with you. And I want you to be selfish. And I want you to be lazy. And I want you to be greedy. I want you to turn the volume up, because I guarantee you, you have been the caregiver. You've been the overgiver, the overachiever, the one who's constantly saving people and rescuing everybody and being there for everybody else. And when you need help, people tell you to figure it the fuck out. You're the strong one. You're the one who always figures it out. Why do you need help? You're being lazy. No, I'm being fucking human. Because I'm tired of holding everybody up. And of course, what do we need in body? The lion. So this is definitely Leo energy, and Leos definitely have this like, I am better than you attitude sometimes. There's a little bit of arrogance. All signs have that in a certain area. Aquarians, we've got the weird, the different, the unusual, the you can't pin me down because I'm a chameleon, and the best and worst way. Every sign has its whatever shadow side. But this is about being fierce, and it's about owning your power and about taking your power back and saying, you know what? I am fucking tired of other people making decisions for me. I am tired of other people's actions impacting negatively on my life, and I am taking my power back. And fuck you if you get in my way. I will chew you up and spit you out. So this is the energy we need to empower. And hopefully the right people are empowering this, not the people that are like, oh, I'm not masking, I'm not this, or whatever the fucking situation is. Okay? I want you to listen to your intuition. I want you, when your intuition says no, I want you to feel that like a fucking dog collar zapping you. Not subtlety, not dismissing it, not I'm being dramatic, not I'm being sensitive, not I'm being paranoid, not dismissing and swiping left on your intuition. I want you to fucking feel it like a zap. Like when you go to do that thing that is not in alignment with who you truly are in your core, your most authentic self. And I don't really like that word because our survival persona is authentic as well. It's who we needed to be to survive. So it's not inauthentic. And I don't like the word higher self. Your goddess self. The part of you that is part divine and part human. That fully integrated self. Okay? The part of you that knows how to thrive. The part of you that knows that you're here not just to make the world a better place and serve your part in the greater story, but you know that you can do it in style, whatever that means for you, and you can do it in alignment with being who you are. Like me, Aquarius girly, I like gadgets. I like technology. One of the things that I'm getting is I really want to start writing books and not just romance novels, but I have all these courses that I've created and I really want to turn them into books because I think they would be more helpful to people. And also less drain on my energy because I only have so much time in the day and so much energy, right? So turning them into books can impact more people and make money for me and also not be a huge load on me as having all these one-on-one clients or all these group programs, right? And so one of the things that I was just I need to have a Bluetooth keyboard that looks like a typewriter in pink. And I'm I don't care if it's $42. I don't care that this laptop has a keyboard. I need that because that will make me happy and it'll make me want to type. And whatever I need, whatever tools, gadgets, resources, again, new moon in Taurus, what resources do I need in order for me to be happy and to do the thing I want to do? When I sew I love sewing. So, but I put my Greek music on. I find that when I put music on, yesterday when I was taking pictures and counting fucking 511 beads, putting Greek music on helps because it gives my brain something to do instead of sitting here and being this is fucking boring, I don't want to do it. It gives my brain, my monkey mind, something to do. And with sewing, it does tend to calm the savage beast, and because I get frustrated sometimes because I'm okay, I wish my mother had taught me this, and I could feel my mother's energy of her rolling around her grave, and every time I feel that energy of her being what the fuck are you doing, child, I have to tell her very loud and very sternly, if you wanted me to be a seamstress or to be a sewer, then you should have fucking taught me. And here I am watching YouTube videos, making it up as I go along and just fucking using some common sense to do the thing that you could have taught me. So shut the fuck up. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my mother because I loved her and I know her spirit means well. But it's you know what? If you wanted me to be as good as a seamstress as you were, you should have took a few minutes to teach me. But instead, you said, I don't want you to follow in my path, knowing all full well that we all follow down our parents' path in some way, shape, or form in some area of our life. We just can't help ourselves, right? And letting go of that. Okay, so just being fierce, being yourself, hearing yourself roar. Like I said, I did not come on here to talk about the news, but I felt compelled to share a few things because I do, sometimes I'm just I feel I'm silencing myself because I feel people already think I'm fucking crazy and they're going to think I'm 10 times crazy. And the truth is that I don't even know the depths of I don't think it's craziness. It's a depth of awareness. Okay? And a lot of people, again, especially with this whole hantavirus, they're there's no need for alarm. There's no need for alarm. And the more details that come out, it's tell me again why there's no need for alarm when cases are popping up all over the world, and there's people that got off the boat before you knew what it was, and now they're roaming around interacting with everybody, and we're all 6 degrees of separation from someone. And again, how am I overreacting? Let me get you some fucking crayons so you can explain it to me, because I'm not overreacting. I've seen this pattern before, hint hint 2020, and I'm seeing it again. And our government likes to just be like, oh, we're and it's like, okay, you said that last time, and then look at what fucking happened. Anyway, what do we need to do? What are the resources we need to call on? And it's really interesting this card came in, because it's the power of purpose. And yes, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's because people are fucking stupid and don't think about the consequences of their actions. That is a fucking reason. Sometimes the reason things happen is not this big, huge, like, cosmic, metaphysical, like, the world needs you to be a certain way. It's sometimes just selfishness and greed and laziness, and insert fucking 7 deadly sins here, right? But what we choose to do with what is happening in the world and what is happening with our life is our choice. That is our free will, and we can choose to engage, we can choose to comply, we can choose to do our own fucking thing and be like, yeah. I used to say this to my daughter when she was younger. I was like, I'm sorry, but America ends at the front door. This is Elpida land. Okay, I pay the bills, so I get to make the rules. And it doesn't mean that you don't have rights. You're a fucking human being, but you do have to comply with the rules that I make. And I'm saying that again. Not that it's changed, but I'm just saying that what I do in my own home and how I take care of my family is my business. And so, you know, the homeschool shit and the hantavirus and all the other bullshit that's going on, I am keeping an eye on it. I am mindful of, do I need to adjust anything? But at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay? And that's what, for me, is the resource I need to draw upon. To know that, to be grounded in who I am, and to let go of the need to save everyone else, because there are people who are going to drag you down. They're the kind of person where you are getting on the lifeboat and they're telling you, here, hold my jacket or something, and then they take your seat. And I don't have patience for those kinds of people anymore. I don't have patience for people that are fake and who will gaslight you into thinking you're the problem. So one of the resources that I am calling in is my own power, my own sense of purpose, my own, I know I'm here for a reason, that I chose to come into these fucking nonsensical and like never ending, unprecedented times. And I have to have faith that I have the resources within me to do what I'm here to do. And maybe that's just raise my kids. Maybe it's just to do this live. Maybe it's to help the clients that I'm helping. You know, whatever it is, it's for me to be me and to trust that I will be taken care of. And also to take up more fucking goddamn space. To speak more when I feel called to speak. To ask the universe for more money, more support, more whatever of the things that I have been not denying myself because I don't want to be perceived as selfish, greedy, and lazy. Because by other people's standards, if I really were those things, I'd be one of those fat cats up sitting up in that penthouse 1% ceiling, and I am fucking not. So, and I don't have any aspirations to be one of those fat cats. I kind of like being more of the virus that is unassuming and has changed you without you realizing I've done anything, than to be a parasite at the top sucking other people's resources and etc. Okay, I like to be a white worm, as they say, instead of a fucking parasite like the wisteria of the upper class. Okay, I think I am done. I know this was not my usual type of I want to say transmission, but I trust that this showed up where it needed to show up, that the people who needed to hear it heard it, the people that need me will reach out to me, and that I needed to say those things and get them off my fucking chest. And I have a feeling that the more that Pluto transits into Aquarius in retrograde right now, the more you'll see this version of Elpida show up, because this is a huge part of who I am. And I don't always show it because I don't always feel it. I know that sounds confusing, but it's like, I think that when the camera comes on, I feel like I need to be a certain part of me to show a certain part of me, that love, light, the inspiration. Elpida literally means fucking hope in Greek. And I am meant to be a beacon of hope. But you have to remember that hope, actually, the definition of hope is not wishy-washy. I think I wish, like, whimsical stuff. It is more of the grit, the freaking, war paint, the, like, tenacity, the perseverance, those sorts of things. That version of hope, which is really the true version of hope. It's like, I'm going to keep fucking showing up and doing what I'm meant to do, and trust that it's getting through to the people that need to hear it, right? It's not this fluffy, like, toxic positivity. And I don't feel like who I am on a normal basis is toxic positivity. I usually do, like, look at the world and I'm just like, and then I'm like, I'm just going to go be me and go do my thing and not ignore it, but, like, kind of keep it in the periphery and, like, half listening with one ear just in case something is urgent for me to know and respond to, but know that I'm living the life that I want to be living, finally, for the first time in a long time, and that I've been through worse and I've made it through and I've figured it out, and I will do it the fuck again, because been there, done that. And this time I want to do it a little differently. But it's honestly, to tell you the, like, raw and uncut truth, I don't think people can handle me at my most authentic. Not that I feel like this isn't inauthentic, or any of my other videos have been inauthentic. They're not. They are who I am. I will get to a place of utter impatience and frustration and anger and rage, and I will say things like, I can't do this anymore, not in a, like, off with our head kind of way, but in a, like, this shit has to change because it's not working for me, and, I'm frustrated, whatever. And then I will literally, 180 and be like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves and just get this fucking shit done. And be like, okay, what do I put in place so I don't ever find myself in that sort of situation, or feel that way, or experience that, or hear that, or do that ever again. So it's not about, like, just dealing with the current situation. It's about saying, okay, what do I do so that I never have to do this again? Because I don't want to do this again, whatever this means, right? So I feel like I tend to show up here more on the second half, the part of me that's already decided that what I'm going to do, and that I'm not going to let circumstances and the world and the old white fucking men tell me what the fuck to do. And I don't have to give them the middle finger. They don't even know that I fucking exist. I can just go about my life and live my life the way that I want to live my life and not participate in as much of the system that I can avoid, right? So a lot of times you're seeing the transformation, it's the aftermath. It's like, I've made the decision, I came to this crossroads of like, I don't want to fucking feel this way or be this way or do this ever again, and I've had that moment of breakdown and breakthrough, and you see the other side in these videos. And today you kind of saw a little bit of the underlying shit that's going on, where Elpida's looking at the world and saying this fucking shit again and again. We're being told the risk to the general population is low, and yeah. And meanwhile, the map is lighting up with case after case, and it's like, this person was at like past this other person on the way to the bathroom. And I know that was the 2018 case, I'm just using this as an example, and that's an outlier because normally it's a 2-meter radius, blah blah blah. It's like, this is how viruses mutate. Every time a virus replicates itself, every time it moves from one person to the other person, just like any other cell, there is potential for mutation. That's what fucking cancer is, right? It's just your own cells mutating and growing at an alarming rate, and then the copies are not identical. It's kind of like your printer fucking cartridge is little off skew, or it's low, and now it's not spitting out identical copies, and we've seen this before. Okay? And now there's an outlier, and then there's another outlier, and then there's another outlier, and before you know it, you've got strain after strain after strain after strain. Okay? The reason that this virus hasn't been a real issue before is because not a lot of people have gotten it, and it hasn't spread before like this. The more it spreads, the more people it jumps from to, the more chance for it to mutate. And that's just fucking science. That's not Elpida making it up. It is literally, every time you make a copy of something, there's a chance for mutation. So the more people that get it, the more it has the likelihood of mutating. And I'm not trying to alarm you. I'm just saying, haven't we seen this before? It's kind of like you're watching a movie and you're like, yeah, this plot seems familiar, right? It's just like, I know what's coming, foreshadowing, because I've seen this pattern before. And again, you know, all I'm saying is do your research, err on the side of caution, and I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I know what I'm doing because I'm just doing what I've been doing. And, you know, maybe I'm not the crazy one anymore because I kind of knew something was happening. I didn't think that we were done with this shit. And maybe I won't ever go back to normal. Like, I think coming home and washing your fucking hands and changing your clothes after being in contact with everything in the world is actually a good thing. And you might call it OCD and germophobia. I call it just good hygiene. Just if you're allergic to pollen, you would come home and change your clothes and wash your hands anyway. So why not look at the world as like full of fucking pollen? Because it is. And some pollen is okay and some is not that great. I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you is that you need to tune into what your intuition is telling you. And when your intuition tells you to fucking stay home, stay the fuck home. When your intuition tells you not to go to a fucking landfill in an undeveloped area of a country, you just don't fucking go. Again, I think the part that really bothers me the most is the fact that people don't understand that their actions have consequences. And when one person causes the rest of the world to have to change their life because they did not take a second to fucking think about the consequences of their actions, it really fucking pisses me off. I don't like having to clean up other people's messes, and I don't like having to deal with the consequences of other people's actions, because they did not take a second to think things through. I don't even like cleaning up my own mess sometimes, to be honest. So cleaning up somebody else's mess is like, yeah, really fucking pisses me off. So, do what you will with this information. I would definitely call in resources, your angels, your guides, your whatever, this Saturday and Sunday, to help you get through the rest of this year, because I don't think we've heard the last of this shit. And listen to your fucking intuition. I'm gonna share one real quick story. So in 2000 and no, in 1999, 1999, in November of 1999, I was waitressing, and the place that I waitressed at, the restaurant I waitressed at, was closed for the weekend so that they could renovate. And that Friday night, a bunch of the waitresses I was going to one of the waitresses' homes to do coffee ground readings, because they all were like, oh, you do coffee ground readings, come do my cup, right? And I also had my tarot cards, right? And I remember all day long, I did not want to go. I just did not want to fucking go. I had this like funky feeling. I felt tired. I was just like, oh. And I kept dismissing it. I'm like, Elpida, you just haven't had a Friday off in a long time, because I'd been waitressing for like, I think a year or two. I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And I'd been waitressing for about a year, and I hadn't had a Friday off in like a year, and I just dismissed it. I was just like, oh, I'm just being silly. I'm just being lazy, right? I made a commitment. I need to go. And at 8:02 on the fucking VCR back in the day, I got up, I grabbed my shit, I put my shoes on, I said goodbye to my husband, my first husband, and I walked across the balcony, because in the complex that we lived in the apartment complex we lived in, there was like a cement balcony, right, that connected all the apartments, and then there was a stairwell, right? I got down the first section of stairs, because we were only on the second floor. On the second section of stairs, I think it was like the fourth or fifth stair from the bottom. These stairs were cement, but the edge was metal, and they had been painted, but some of the paint had like chipped off, so it was slippery, right? And the boots that I wore did not have like, wintry tread, right? They were just like dress boots. And I slipped and I fell, and luckily I grabbed onto the railing, because otherwise I would have pitched forward and probably smashed my face in or whatever, right? Coffee cups go flying. I only have 2 left. Still from that set, I only have 2 left. But anyway. And I could feel the bone rubbing against the bone, and I screamed. The woman in the apartment at the bottom of the stairs like came out, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I think I broke my ankle. And I'm like, just, tears are coming down my face, and I have a pretty high pain tolerance. And I don't remember if my husband came running because he heard me, or she went and got him. I don't remember the whole thing. But anyway, they had to cut my shoe off and all this stuff, and took me to the emergency room. And sure enough, I had broken all 3 bones. Broken the ankle bone, and then the femur, and the, whatever the other bone is. I don't remember. Anyway, I know I worked in orthopedic office, but I don't remember. And I remember it was Dr. Foster back then. He's probably retired by now. But anyway, and he's like, I remember being in the elevator as they're taking me upstairs to prep me for surgery. And he's like, you just don't do anything half-assed, do you? He's like, you broke all 3 bones there. It's called a trimalleolar fracture. They had to put in a metal plate with 6 screws on the outside, and then 2 screws on the inside. And I was in a cast for a long time. And I'm not going to tell you that that happened and I always listen to my intuition, because I'm fucking human and sometimes I'm tired and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I think I am being silly or being sensitive or over dramatic or whatever. But ever since then, I listen a lot the fuck more. And especially when it's loud and it's repetitive and I get this funky feeling in my stomach, like I feel nauseous. And especially when there's like this feeling of dread. And this weekend, there was that feeling of dread. And then all of a sudden, we wake up to all this hantavirus shit. And I'm telling you, it's just not good. I don't care what the fuck they're saying. It's not contained. There are 29 people that got off before there was a diagnosis. There are people that have come in contact with these people. They're taking every fucking precaution. Not everybody's as diligent. Not everybody's as careful. Not everybody has attention to detail like some of us do. And I'm just telling you that you just have to listen to your intuition. There are times that I will cancel shit because my intuition's telling me no, and I don't give people an explanation because I don't need to explain myself. Sometimes I legitimately don't feel good, and just because I'm home all the time doesn't mean that I don't occasionally. I mean, I do have seasonal allergies. I mean, I live in a fucking community. Having my window open can be a danger at times, right? Like, you don't know how these things are transmitted and stuff, and it doesn't mean that we haven't got sick. When my ex was here, he had COVID like 3 times, and he was wearing a mask. I call bullshit on that. I doubt he was, because I would go to the grocery store and be in fucking Walmart for an hour and have close contact and not get sick, but he would run into the warehouse to fucking whatever and he would get sick. So this bullshit. I'm not saying that all precautions are 100%. I'm just saying the more diligent you are and the more careful you are, the less likely you are to get sick. It's just fucking common sense. And but you need to live your life the way that you need to live your life. And for me, it's really not having regrets. And I'm not saying that there hasn't been shit that has happened in my life that I wish I had done differently or listened to my intuition or whatever. You know, I'm human. I fucking make mistakes. I ignore my intuition sometimes too. But I'm just telling you that I've had a lot of life experiences where my intuition was right the fuck on the money. And usually 9.99999 times of the times it's right on the money, and I've ignored it. Again, I'm fucking human. So sometimes it's should I have bought a cantaloupe? Who the fuck cares? Like, yeah, something was telling me I should have bought a cantaloupe. That's not life or death. But going somewhere, doing something, being somewhere that your intuition is telling you is not for you for whatever reason, that's something that I hope you do not ignore. And people are like, oh, you know, this is inconvenient. Life is fucking inconvenient. Other people being on this planet is fucking inconvenient. Like, a lot of things are inconvenient. But your death, the death of someone you love, is a lot more fucking inconvenient than canceling your vacation or not going to the grocery store or working for home or wearing a fucking mask or wearing gloves or washing everything that comes into your home. You have to choose your inconvenience. Okay? So I'm just gonna leave that there and you do what you want to do. But I will tell you that watching all these videos and all these, I mean, it's great. You know, you have real professionals out there sharing information and updates. But after a while, it becomes this obsession. And I'm telling you, I was there last night and I'm like, what difference does it make? What happens to me when I'm already doing what I'm doing? And I feel like that is more than adequate. So you make your own decision as to what you choose to do and how you choose to consume information. But sometimes it's like, The reason to consume information is so that you can make an informed decision. And when you feel like you've made the best decision and you know what you're going to do and you're already doing it, then there's no point in consuming information anymore. Again, we keep things on our periphery. We keep, half an ear open to make sure that there isn't anything more I need to do or something hasn't escalated or whatever. So we don't just shut it off and like ignore everything. It's just that, you know, at some point, the fixation on knowing everything needs to go. And I made that decision yesterday. I was just like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I know what I gotta do to take care of me and my family. And I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And, the rest of it is listening to my intuition and just trusting it explicitly. And I think that's part of, like, Aquarius is a very intuitive sign. It is the water bearer, and by that is such a fucking misnomer, but it's really the waters of consciousness. It's the flow of the divine into the material world. We are the bridge. And that's why you'll find Aquarians just know things that other people just don't know. And a lot of it is 99% of it is intuitive, and other part of it is like we love to learn shit. We're a very intellectual sign, right? It's an air sign, so it covers the mind, right? And so we are information storehouses, and we love to consume information. But are you consuming that information out of fear or out of interest or out of, like, you have to make that decision whether you're an Aquarius or not, wherever Aquarius falls in your astrological chart. But for me, I find that, like, once I've consumed enough information to make a really educated and an informed decision, I need to kind of let it go, because then it becomes an obsession, and then that's all I'm doing. And yeah, am I actually living at that point? I'm just fucking sitting here terrified, and I don't want to live that way. And so that's part of my transformation in Pluto. If you believe that you create your own reality, then you need to trust that you have power, you have agency. You can avoid situations that are not beneficial for you, including what's fucking going on in the world, and all of it, not just this particular thing. So, and at the end of the day, it is your intuition. Your intuition is going to be the biggest indicator of, you're going to be, and I'm seeing this clear as day, you're going to be at your front door and something's going to tell you, not today. And are you going to listen, or are you going to be like, I'm being silly, I'm being, sensitive, I'm being paranoid, and do it anyway? Like me with the fucking coffee ground readings and breaking my ankle. Had I listened to it, I wouldn't have a fucking plate and 8 screws in my ankle. Okay? Not because I care, but because it's like, well, that could have been avoided. Right? That could have been avoided. So it's like, sometimes we have to, like, stop fucking gaslighting ourselves and telling ourselves that we're being silly, we're being paranoid, we're being sensitive, we're being whatever, and listen to our own selves. And that's part of this, like, Pluto and Aquarius thing. Because Aquarius is about the collective, but it's also about individuality. You have to remember that Aquarius loves humanity, loves the concept of people, but not necessarily individuals. I want you to be an individual, but I may not necessarily like the individual that you are. Like, Aquarians are really like the epitome of the introverted extrovert, or the extroverted introvert. Like, we are very loud and boisterous and, like, finish each other's sentences when we're with people that we really resonate. And then when we're around other people that just are not our vibe, that we are just don't feel a connection to, and it's more ethereal than just an intellectual connection. We're quiet. We're people observers, right? We're people watchers, and we're just like, You know, we're kind of like that show Absolutely Fabulous. In our head, we've got this whole scenario of like, oh my God, what the fuck is she wearing? And what the hell did he just say? And all that stuff. And we can be very, judgmental and critical, but it's not something that we'll necessarily say out loud, because whatever, our innermost thoughts, our perceptions of the world are our private thoughts, and we don't need to be sharing that. It's not usually helpful to people to hear the shit that's going on in our heads about them. And it's not about everybody. It's just certain people and certain lifestyles and certain things that we just don't vibe with. And we, provided you're not hurting someone or hurting yourself, we will fight for your right to be that way and to be that individual. That is part of the Aquarius ethos, is that we want you to be an individual. We want you to be yourself. But if you're hurting other people or you're hurting yourself, we're not down for that, right? So anyway, as the bridge between this realm and the other realm, we are very psychic and we are very intuitive, and we usually see things coming way before other people see them. And not necessarily that people always listen to us, because whatever, sometimes we want what we want, we don't want to hear it. I can't tell you how many clients, when I first started doing tarot, would come to me and it's like, well, the other tarot reader, the astrologer, like whatever. And I was one in a circuit, and I was always odd woman out. I was always saying the opposite of what everybody else was saying. And usually I would get to this point of frustration and like annoyance, and I'm like, why the fuck do you come here when I'm not telling you what you want to hear? Because I'm never going to do that. I will always tell you the truth. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not here to paint fluffy petals of loveliness. I'm here to tell you the truth so that you can actually take back your fucking power and create what you really want. And usually at that point they would stop coming to me and hopefully make a choice, make a different choice. And maybe the different choice was going and finding another tarot reader that would agree with them and would keep the illusion going. And I just don't do that, because that's just not who I am. And so it was very frustrating to feel like the person's hearing me, but they're really not hearing me. But it's also understanding that we are human and we are attached to this human realm, because I stayed in relationships that should never have even started. So it doesn't mean that we're not people, and it doesn't mean that we're not allowed to make our mistakes. It's just sometimes our intuition is telling us to do hard things because we deserve better. And so I just want you to keep that in mind as we navigate the next 5 months and beyond. I'm hearing more like 18 months to 2 years. And sometimes a minor inconvenience of not going somewhere because your intuition's like, not today, we should stay home, is the trade-off we have in order to live the life that we want. So I invite you to listen more. I invite you to really get quiet. And I invite you, when your body or your mind or your heart or some part of your being is telling you not to go, not to do that, not to engage with certain people, places, and things, but you actually fucking listen. I'm really putting this out into the universe, and I'm saying that every single person on this fucking planet, like, literally feel it like a jolt of electricity through their body if they're about to do something fucking stupid to jeopardize the entire planet. And I wish I had the foresight to do that a month ago, a month and a half ago, when, Mr. Birdwatcher decided to fucking go to the fucking rat-infested dump. I wish that my intention could go back in time and zap that motherfucker and be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. But I can't go back in time. All I can do is hope that at least one person sees this and hears this and takes my guidance to heart And that makes a difference. I can't change the world. I can't change the past, but hopefully I can change one person today with what I've said. Okay. Carry on. Stop fucking scrolling. Stop fucking reading, listening to the news and getting all worked up about it. Decide make your flow chart. I like flow charts. Okay. So a flow chart is basically a graphic representation of an algorithm. And an algorithm, all it does is, these are my conditions. If this happens, then I'm going to do this. It's an if then else statement. I know this because I actually have a degree in computer science. So you make your flow chart. If this happens, this is what I'm doing. If that happens, this is what I'm doing. If my intuition tells me not to go, I'm not going to fucking go. If my intuition says no, the answer is fucking no. And maybe the only flowchart or algorithm you need is just your intuition. But if you fucking need to make some decisions now about what you're going to do, depending upon what happens with this dumpster fire of a world we live in, then do that. Just like you would have, I'm seeing like the fire evacuation charts, like, you know, the X's mark all the exits and the little dotted line of like, if there's a fire, this is where you go in order to get the fuck out, where you go in order to get the fuck out of here safely. I think you need to do that for yourself. I think you need to do that for yourself. I'm going to say it again. I think you need to do that for yourself. I don't think you need to do that for yourself. I know you need to do that for yourself. And not just in what's going on in the world with, you know, the hantavirus and everything else, but like in your life. Because what's going on in the macrocosm is also going in the microcosm. How are you letting other people hijack your agency and your free will and your decisions? How are you putting your power into money, into, you know, your family, into the economy, into your employer, into your clients, into everybody else, but where it belongs, which is within you? And how do you take that power back? Little bit at a time. Every time you make a different choice, every time you respond differently to a situation, every time you set up a boundary, every time you listen to your intuition. And you don't need a big fucking sign saying, oh, there was a big accident on the highway, glad I didn't take it. Because sometimes you are the I don't want to say the problem, but you're the component that would have caused that accident. So maybe there's no accident on the highway because you weren't there. Sometimes you need to be the missing link. Interesting turn of phrase, but like, seriously. If you're not there, then, you know, it doesn't mean that somebody else won't be there and pick up the slack and do what you were supposed to do or weren't meant to do or whatever. But like, I think if more people thought about the consequences of their actions, I think the world would be a better place. But also, like that first card that we had, that higher view, is like, it's knowing what the balance between putting yourself first and making yourself a priority and not being a menace to other people and not having your decisions cause dire consequences for other people. Where are you enabling people? Where are you saving people that don't want to be saved? Where are you over giving and not giving yourself enough? That's what I want you to look at, not like being the 1% and taking everything and being a taker. Like the empath or the altruist does not need to become the narcissist. They need to find the balance between giving to others and giving to yourself. You need to find the balance between taking care of you and taking care of others. And also sometimes when we withdraw our attention and we withdraw our care from other people, that's when they fucking wake the fuck up and do something about it and take care of themselves. Woman's job is not here to baby the men that didn't have the best mother. Sorry, not sorry. It's not my fault your mommy was not nice to you. My mommy wasn't nice to me either at times. That's not my job to help you with that. My job is to be the partner that I'm meant to be. And to call in a partner that will partner with me. Someone that I don't need to fucking reparent. Because I'm doing enough reparenting of myself. I don't need someone else to reparent. I got enough work cut out for myself. But I need someone who's doing the work on themselves. And it doesn't mean that we can't support each other and tilt each other's crown when it goes askew and have each other's back. It just means that, you know. Anyway. All right. And like Austin Powers says, and I'm spent. So I've got work to do. A child is making food, so that reminded me that I need to eat something. And I am available for tarot readings today. I am available for the clarity and clearing sessions. So that is a crystal chakra clearing, which is helping to clear and align your chakras. If you've never had one, they're pretty fucking amazing, if I might say so myself. Basically I lay crystals on a mat that represent your 7 chakras. Occasionally I will do work on other ones beyond the 7, sometimes, not always. And basically this mat is a surrogate for your body, your energy field. And I lay crystals on it very intuitively. I go through each chakra and I tell you what I am getting intuitively as to what is going on and what needs to shift. A lot of times there is a thought pattern or behavior pattern that needs to shift in your own life, in your own world. And then I clear that chakra using a pendulum to the highest level possible. We never open chakras all the way up because our nervous system cannot fucking handle that. I don't think anybody's energy can handle that. And then I also will clear your aura and put you in a nice pink bubble so that you have some peace for a while. And that's always done as a video. So you can do a 20-minute reading plus that. That's $88. If you're interested in getting clear on your money story, like I think that most of the world's problems have to do around money and value, and Taurus is the ruler of that, the second house, the house of value, the house of income. So this is a good time to start the money recalibration. It is 8 weeks. It is 3 Zoom calls, and then the rest are audios that you will receive about reprogramming your subconscious mind so that you can ask, receive, spend, save, and I think it's share. It might, yeah, share money. Okay, the 5 areas of the 5 interactions with money. And those are hypnosis audios, and they're guided visualizations for you to kind of drift off into sleep. And we're doing specifically the challenges that you're having with money. I mean, we are going to cover all 5 because most people have issues with all 5, but it's not a generic audio that you're going to get. It's going to be custom created for you. And then those 3 sessions will be talking about mindset work, behavior modification, as in, like, you know, are you spending money on yourself? Like, are you spending too much money on yourself? Are you spending a little bit of money? Like, what is going on in your financial situation so that we can start to, because you have to also take some action. And usually with this sort of energetic work that I do and the mindset work that I do, your behavior will automatically change. But when we make decisions together based upon what you want to experience and take action from that place of, like, I'm going to initiate the action instead of waiting for the action to arise from within me, it's just as potent, if not more. Okay. And that's $444 payment plans are available, and you can always bring a partner or friend for half price. And then if you want to work on a monthly basis, doing energetic and subconscious reprogramming around any area of your life, like could be relationship, it could be work, it could be money, it could be health, whatever it is. I do have ways for you to work with me that we would need to discuss that to see what you have going on and what that looks like. Okay. And then there's some new things that I'm working on that I will be releasing in the next week or two. A workshop on turning your content into an ebook and then using your ebook to bring in more clients. So bringing in more cash and more clients creating ebooks and actually publishing them. It's actually really fucking easy to do, but the process of like how to, like, it's not just the technical stuff. That's the easy part. Well, it is for me at least. Aquarius rules technology, so of course it's easy for me. It's not easy for everybody, okay? And so certain things aren't easy for me either, like julienning vegetables. Like, yeah, I have really good knife skills, but that's one that's just not there for me. But anyway, we'll also be talking about how to integrate that, how to do the marketing, how to like go from here to there. Like, you're not just going to just take a bunch of shit that you've written on Facebook and just throw it in a PDF, load it up to KDP, and then think that that's going to bring you business. There's a process to it, and there's thought pattern that needs to be, an algorithm, a flowchart that needs to be created so that you know what this is doing for you and what is the end result that you want to create. So that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. And if you're concerned about what is going on in the world and you want a little sneak peek as to what you need to, how to tune into your intuition and, how to keep yourself safe and how to keep yourself also mentally sane, then I definitely encourage you to book a reading, because that's what readings are for during these trying times, to know what is your intuition telling you. How do you hear your intuition more clearly and more accurately so that you can trust it, because then you can navigate anything. Doesn't matter what the fucking world does. Let it have its unprecedented time. You get to live in your little cottage by the sea writing romance novels like me. All right, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Bye.